that?
Welcome to Real Estate Nuggets. I'm Brian Yampolsky. I'm a mortgage broker in Phoenix, and I interview real estate agents to find out how they got so flippin' successful, or at least a little successful. Just learn a few nuggets. Get it? That's where the name comes from. But today I'm really excited to have you, Asher Cohen. You're. I don't know if you know this, but people respect you. People look up to you because they're short. I but I have some questions that I'm going to ask you, and we're just going to get to know you, and you're going to enlighten us with whatever's in your head, and go from there. How's that sound?
I'm ready when you are.
All
Thank
right,
you for having me on, by the way.
my pleasure, my pleasure. So to start, because of the tens of people who are listening to this podcast, um, let's start with how did you get into real estate? Because you've been in it for a while, but how did you actually decide I'm going to get into real estate?
I got into real estate through a very good friend of mine, a fraternity brother at ASU. He said that someone in the office that he's working at is needing an assistant and help with marketing.
That's
And he
great.
was at,
That's like I've told everybody that's the best way to get into the business, whether it's mortgage or real estate, is work for someone.
yeah. So I knew nothing about real estate. This was a major commercial broker dealing with the shopping center business, only buying and selling of shopping centers. And I didn't know anything about it, but I knew people, I knew marketing, and that was my in. And he interviewed a bunch of people, and he said, "I'll pick you, come on board." And that turned into getting my license and helping on the commercial side, and then that ended in 2008, November 2008. I said, I am no longer going to be in real estate anymore. And
Well,
I
you
went,
failed at that, didn't you?
I did. And I went back to promotional products, business development, marketing. That's kind of my jam.
Hmm.
And late of 2010, I'm like, you know what? I have this license. It took me a long time to get my license, not because of the classes and what I'm going to share with you, Brian. Not a lot of people know. I had to take the school test over a dozen times to pass.
Wow,
And I, at
that's
one point, thought,
that to me spells persistence.
at one point, I thought, you know what? This is not going to be my thing. Maybe this is a sign.
Yeah.
And that later, that persistence and determination, I finally passed and really just hit the ground running in January of 2011, and really haven't looked back other than to see just the accomplishments and success that we've had. And that's really through our clients just saying thank you so much, thank you so much, and that just spiraling into this amazing team that we have. So that's a
All
little bit
right.
of the background.
All right, that's interesting. I want to ask you a question about that because the 12 times is it's probably a record. Um, I want to know how did you feel? Like the first time you don't pass, okay, it happens to everybody. But maybe by like I don't know, third, fourth time, did it affect your confidence? Did it affect I mean, you said that you were asking yourself, is this maybe this isn't meant to be, but how did you move past that? Because that could set most people just in a different direction.
I have a high pain tolerance and I'm patient. So with that, that could be a pro and a con. And and yes, it definitely messes with your confidence. I
Hmm.
was told by a lot of people that, passing the first or second time is not the benchmark to like strive for,
Hmm.
but you will pass. So
Yeah.
I think having the right expectation laid out there was helpful. But yeah, I mean, after four, five, six, seven, I started questioning like maybe this is a sign, like maybe this is not my thing.
You're reminding me of remember that movie Tin Cup?
I do.
You're Tin Cup.
Yeah.
You just kept dropping another ball, hitting it in the water, hitting it in the water, hitting it in the water, and then after like I don't know, 11 times, 12, yeah, you're Tin Cup.
So that happened there, and but I quickly noticed that what needed to be done in the residential space was to provide education to consumers, helping them with their confidence. So it wasn't really the test that was allowing me to help clients.
Right.
It was really what I brought to the table. And I
Yeah, the
quickly
test just
saw,
gets you, it just lets you in the door, but it doesn't really prepare you or train you or do anything for you.
yep,
That's again another similarity between our two industries. All right, good intro. So basically, 2010 or 2011 is when this all started, and when you think back to like 2011, when you were just starting out, what do you remember as being one of your biggest challenges after you passed the test?
where am I going to get clients from? Like,
Hmm.
who am I going to go after? How am I going to do it? How is this actually going to work? Like, I finally passed this test,
Hmm.
and now I'm like, I got my license. I want to go to work, but I don't know how this is actually going to work as a business.
And how did you like? How? What was the first moment when you're like, okay, I figured this part out. Now I know I can get my business from fill in the blank. Where did you end up? Where did you go from there?
Yeah, my thing has always been through my network of people that I
Hmm.
have great relationships with. They trust me. They know I'm persistent. They know I'm going to do what's right by them. They know I'm going to answer the phone and I'm going to help. So that part of it was already set through years of just knowing people.
Hmm.
But I think with new people that I would network with, I think they quickly realized what type of person I am. I really wasn't phony in any way. I didn't say I did things that I didn't do. If I said I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. I'm going to help out. And I quickly saw that that was like my way of growing business.
I'll tell you what you are. You want to know what I think you are?
Sure.
I think you're genuine. I think you don't pretend to be someone you're not. You're sincerely Asher Cohen, and that was kind of. I mean, we've known each other for I don't know a couple of years, and you're the same person that I met on day one. So I think that goes a long way because especially in real estate or any kind of sales position, I think people expect agents or loan officers to be salesy. And when you're not, I think that's a differentiator. I think you can not only be who you are and truly connect with people and help people, but I think it's kind of a sometimes people are surprised by, oh, he's actually a nice guy, or oh, he's he's not selling me. That's a differentiator, I think, and you're like that. You're genuine.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
And I have had a client that complained that I'm too nice.
Yeah.
And I think that client didn't understand that I am definitely nice, but they thought maybe that's how I negotiated as well.
Okay. I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking when you're negotiating, it's not about being nice. I want to say, and this is going to sound weird, but when you're a nice, genuine, honest person, that can be off-putting to some people. Like they can think like nobody's like that. Why is he like that? What's he trying to and when you're in fact just being yourself and looking them in the eye like you're looking at me right now,
Yeah.
it really forces it forces me or whoever is talking to you to almost match that and kind of okay, I'm going to return with my true self and be honest back. I think it's a great way to have a conversation, let alone a transaction.
You know, it's so funny you just said looking someone in the eye. I just had this conversation this morning, and when someone doesn't look you in the eye, it's not about you. It's really about them. It's about their self-confidence or
Yep.
what's going on in their world.
Yep.
I was taught very early by my parents that looking someone in the eye is the way you communicate.
That's going to
Period.
be the first nugget. That's today's first nugget. Looking people in the eye. And it does take a certain level of confidence to be able to do that.
I
I'm going to
think
try
it's
it.
self-awareness,
Yeah.
just knowing who you are. Not and that goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's not trying to be something you're not. I've always wanted to be a successful entrepreneur, but I knew at the beginning I had to build that to get there.
Hmm.
So I had a business card and I still have it at my home office that says entrepreneur in the making. It has my name and phone number on it. And in high school, people would laugh at that, just like you are laughing right now, actually. And my peers and even some of the teachers were like, kind of like, okay, what am I doing with this card?
Yeah.
But I just knew this is kind of my thing,
That's
and
cool.
there you go.
That's cool. All right. So moving from 2011,
Yep.
you're starting your career. Um, Over those next few years, do you remember, was there a specific turning point in your career, like when you finally figured something out? What was the turning point for you?
Yeah, the turning point was pretty early. It was within the first, I would say, 16 months, where I
Hmm.
really wanted to focus in on the investor side of the business, but not like the wholesale side, but just helping investors
Hmm.
and identifying what that means. When I say I help investors, what does that mean? Well, there's two types of investors that I would help, right? People that are trying to find homes to fix and flip. And then what needs do those investors have? Do they have a crew ready to go and all the vendors and trades? And then also we have the investors that are looking to buy and hold and maybe create a portfolio of homes. And the way I knew how investors worked was because I was in the commercial real estate space.
Hmm.
So quickly, through amazing connections, through people that I knew, I was introduced to someone that was had a lot of properties that were rented out already, and they were looking to sell them.
Hmm.
And when I say a lot, there were, you know, packets like portfolios of, 5 or 20, and during that time, that's what was going on, and I knew how to run a pro forma, and I knew how to market those packages or portfolios of rental properties, because I would treat it as if it was like a shopping center, and all of the tenants in the shopping center are like all of these homes. And I would
Hmm.
run, okay, what are the expenses and what are the rents and what are we selling each home for, and so forth. And I would show that on a spreadsheet. And I don't think a lot of residential agents knew how to do that. I don't think maybe they know how to do that now. I don't know. But I do know that was like my niche. That was where I was going, and helped a lot of those homes sold, like
That's what I
sell.
was, that's what I was going to say. Is it sounds like you found your niche.
Yeah. And then I received a phone call from a friend that said, "Hey, we know that you do the investment side of things." And this is around like 2013 now, right? So 2013, and maybe, yeah. And he said, "Hey, we know you do the investment side, but you know, we're looking to just buy a house for ourselves. Is that something you can help with?" And then they called the timeout right there. And I'm like, "Whoa, it's great. I have this name in the investor world, but am I limiting myself from other ways of helping people?" And
Hmm.
that's when I started shifting the marketing. It wasn't just the investor stuff. It was definitely, families or whoever, needs help in the residential world.
Okay. So these first few questions are easy. This is the beginning of the hard ones. You ready? All right.
I'm ready.
So you've been in real estate for a number of years. You obviously have faced some rejection along the way. So for agents that are kind of newer, even not even newer, but even the ones that have been around a long time, and they find it difficult to handle rejection. How do you handle rejection?
I think of rejection as, what can I do better? And maybe it's not right now. If someone is rejecting me, I would like feedback. Like, why is it that you didn't go in this direction? And I do it in a very, just polite way, right? I'm not starting a fight, but just for my information and how I can become better, Brian, why is it that you went in that direction versus like something that I can be helping with? And and I know that that's hard for the receiver of that question to answer sometimes.
Hmm.
So I'll even say, like, if that's too much right now, if you want to shoot me a text or an email, it does matter to me because I want to get better. And this is what I say to people. That's exactly what I say. And you need to know how to handle the rejection, because we're going to be rejected. You're going to get more no's than yeses.
Reminds me of somebody said, and I remember it kind of made me feel better. You either win or you learn. So there's no losing. You don't lose the listing. You don't lose the loan. You learn something from it so that next time maybe it turns out to be a win.
There are some times where a no is actually a blessing in disguise.
Like what?
And like if someone says no to you about working with them, it could be a blessing because that's not the right fit for you. Like we are always like yes to everyone. Yo, you want to do this? Yes, I can help you. Yes. Yes, I'm taking on more clients. Yes. Sometimes that could be a blessing. It could just be a learning point where we need to refine and reflect and improve. And most of the time it could be that, but sometimes it's just maybe it's just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
just
I
understanding that we're not after 100% market share.
yeah.
We're not going to get it
Well,
all.
I'm glad you said that because we get these. Many agents send out kind of a snapshot of the market. Here's how many listings there are. Here's how many sales there were. Here's blah blah blah, like 5 or 6 different data points. And I always look at that like maybe in the last month there was 7,000 sales in Maricopa County or something like that, and I think okay, the market's the market's slow, right? Well, 7,000 people didn't think it was slow. They closed a transaction, and I only want like 3, 4, 5 of them. Maybe 6. Okay, 7.
Yeah.
So
Go with
there's
10. Go with 10.
that's right. It's easy to set a big goal. But yeah, it's out there, and I was going to ask you a question about when business is slow, because this year I've talked to people who have said, yeah, it's not living up to our expectations. It's been slower than we expected. And then I've also talked to people who say, they're doing great. So there's always multiple answers to that question. So my question for you is, when business is slow, and I know you've had some slow times because you've been in real estate and everybody has slow times. How do you stay productive when your business slows down?
I go back to what we can refine and what we can work on that we don't have time to work on when we're busy with transactions.
What about
So
right now? What if today was it's slow? I'm going to go back and work on what do you work on
yeah,
today?
so I'm gonna work on our team agreement. We're gonna make sure that that is tightened up and fitting for the time that we're in,
Mm,
because I'm looking to always sharpen things.
mm-hmm,
I'm looking to see how we can be more productive in our checklists that we have internally when we're working with clients.
mm-hmm.
Where can we not drop the ball and how can we become better? So those are the things that I do as an operational, like my mind is kind of strange because I love the client facing and the interaction and being with people and educating them and helping them do their thing with real estate. But I also really love the back end of our business. I love to create the checklists and make sure that everything can go as smooth as possible. So half of me is one side and I'm very Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation over here.
Mm-hmm.
And that also goes with my personality, with my mom being from California and my dad being from Philly and East Coast
Yeah,
mentality. So I'm a freak of nature, I think.
you're
But
everything.
yeah, yeah. But I've kind of created my own thing, right? Their
Yeah.
coolness and calmness, and but going back to the question, looking at what we are not doing when we're busy, all those things, and just doing them during that time. The first couple of years, I couldn't grasp that
Yeah.
because I needed business. I needed
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, you automatically think I need business. I need to do something to get business. And
Yep.
sometimes, like you said before, sometimes it's okay to say no. Sometimes it's okay to not be focused on one thing, which is getting business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you go back to all of your transactions, where were you and what were you doing when that deal came around?
Mm.
And sometimes you're going to notice that you weren't in business mode. You were just yourself and you were interacting with people in whatever setting it was. And that is your secret sauce. Whether it's you, Brian, or whoever's watching this, whatever you are doing, whoever you are with, the group, the community you are a part of, the whatever, like whatever you are doing, you are yourself. So when a new agent comes into this business and I'm coaching them, whether they're on our team or not, and they're like, well, what should I do? Like, what's the best thing in today's market to get business? I ask them the question back, which they don't like originally, but then they quickly realize it's for their benefit. What do you enjoy doing?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, what do you mean I enjoy doing? I need business. And I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
get it, but what do you enjoy doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are your hobbies and what are your strengths and what do you like? And then that's what I'm pushing them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, if someone wants to dial for dollars and they're on the phone and they enjoy that and they like that, then you should do that because you can do business and make money that way. It's proven, it works. And then if you enjoy, being philanthropic and you enjoy being around people that are doing good for a certain community or whatever it might be, then dive into that and not just go occasionally, but really embrace it. Like get involved where you're helpful and you're giving back.
So
And
how do you answer that question if someone asks you, what do you enjoy doing?
so I love working with other business owners and connecting them to what they need. I love meeting other business owners that are raising families. I can relate very well with them,
Mm-hmm.
and I love saying, "Hey, where are you needing help in your business?" And that is not my business. I'm not asking for a consulting fee to help them in their business. I love seeing business grow
Yeah.
and get better. And that's one of the areas that I really enjoy being around and groups of people. We're involved with different organizations um, that we bring our kids to. We're involved in the community in that way, and we get involved. We have a good time doing it. And when you're doing the things that you enjoy, you're not putting up a front. You're not feeling like I don't want to be there. People know when you don't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just you and you're doing you, then that's when you're most clear minded. That's when you're having fun and living. And that's what people want to be around.
You said you like earlier. You said you like coaching agents. It sounds like you like coaching your clients too.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's all the materials I use that are client facing is
Mm-hmm.
the same materials I use for working with agents.
Yep.
There's not one way I teach it and then one way I do it.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
That's brilliant. You're an easy interview. You have a lot to offer, a lot to talk about. You're doing great.
Thank you.
That's what I meant to say. You're doing great.
I'm
Um,
easy.
Here's two questions. Number one is,
Okay.
why do you succeed when so many others do not?
Okay.
Okay. And the other is, tell me about your biggest failure and how did you recover from it?
Okay. So let's do the first one,
Okay. Why do you
which is
succeed when others do
why are
not?
we succeeding in a market that people are not thriving in? Like what is the secret sauce? What's going on?
Right.
I think if we play at the same level, not dependent on what the market is, but we're consistent on how we market. We're consistent on how we, follow through with our clients. We're consistent on the education and what we're putting out there and how we're meeting with
Can you go
people.
deeper with that? What does consistent look like?
Consistent is I'm gonna work on it every day,
Hmm.
right? If I'm gonna take 3 or 4 days off in the week and think that I'm gonna have a thriving business, that's not gonna work, right? So consistently doing the what we call the income producing actions every day, and not thinking that I have to do it, but I get to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So gamify it a little bit for yourselves, right? Make it fun. And by doing the things that you enjoy doing, it's already fun. There's going to be things in the day that you maybe don't love, but that's okay. That's life. So go after the things. Like if I need to follow up with 5 people today, I'm going to make sure I do that. And I start every day with there's zero in escrow is my way of being productive.
Mm.
If I have 5 transactions in escrow today, I'm acting as if I have none. And that's
Yeah.
not a scarcity mindset. That's just I don't want to get too comfortable mindset.
Yeah.
So what am I doing today to move the needle? What am I doing today that I can be helping someone with their real estate? And it's not a commission breath, it's a genuine who on how I operate. And that's another thing. People know if you're just trying to sell them a home, right? And I've never sold a buyer a home.
All right. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
What's your biggest failure and how did you recover from it?
My biggest failure is actually happening right now. We haven't recovered yet. So I don't know when you're airing this, but there was
Mm,
a
in a few weeks,
okay. So
maybe 2 weeks.
the biggest failure is a document not getting updated properly and over to the other party. And right now, how I'm recovering from it is being very open with my client about it, being open with our broker about it, and just not trying to blame anyone, just taking responsibility and say, yeah, this happened, that we dropped the ball in this area, and these are all the things that we can do to overcome it, and we're going to work on doing that, and we're going to make
So
it the best we can.
so if that's your biggest failure in your career, I'm going to assume that it had a pretty big impact on both parties or one of the parties.
We're not sure yet. It's fresh. It just came up.
Uh, all right,
Yeah.
maybe we'll do a follow up, see how it did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I don't like that one.
What's an example? I'm just curious. What's an example of a big failure that other people have, or maybe a nugget that you can provide? What's your biggest failure?
Are you flipping this interview on me?
No, no, no. We're just having a casual conversation.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll answer that in two ways. One, you could watch all the episodes and see for yourself what people
Okay.
have said.
Okay.
But it's an interesting. People answer that question in a way that's very interesting because some people will go really deep. Like, I never went to my kids' activities when they were growing up. I always prioritized business, my clients, and now they're older and, I missed out. They go deep personally. And then I've had people just give me kind of a very, you know, like, almost like they haven't had any real major failures. Truth is, we've all had failures, and we're all going to continue to have failures if we're doing it right. If you're not failing, then you're
Yeah.
not trying.
That's so good. I love that.
I
Yes.
just made it up.
You did a great job there.
I didn't make it up. I probably heard it somewhere,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
I
there's
brought
no
it.
new.
I made it up today. But yeah, I think people answer that question. In fact, I interviewed someone who asked me not to air their interview because they were uncomfortable with the question. So yeah, people's responses they're interesting.
Yeah. I think that talks about who that person is.
Yep,
That's really good. Yeah.
yep. All right, I'm gonna pick the best one for last
Okay.
if I can. There's so many good ones. All right, I'm gonna do this one. This is the best one. What's one piece of advice that you'd give another agent who might be starting out? Like the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I think the best piece of advice that I can give someone starting out is the fact that who you are associated with and who you connect with matters so much. And it's not just the go for the culture versus the commission split. It has a little bit to do with that, but who you're learning from, who you're surrounding yourself with, not just because of how they run their business, but how they run their life, is so important. So,
Why? Why is that important?
because it bleeds into each other. It all bleeds into each other. If I have something going on at home, I'm going to bring it to work. If I have something going on at work, I'm going to bring it home. I mean, it just, when someone says, it's just business. Well, yes, there is just business, but we are human beings,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that piece of it is really important because if you can help yourself connect with the right people that can help you overcome things faster and help you get through things faster and have a good support system around you, that is going to make your business thrive versus how many leads they can give or how much they can do in this arena. Really look at not just the business, but the whole picture.
I wish that we had more time to talk because I wrote down a few nuggets from you that are great. So I said it at the beginning. I was really excited to have you on, and it took a while to get our schedules together. But I think you're doing a great job in your career and in your life, and I just hope people get as much out of listening to you as I have.
Thank you, Brian. I
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
You're
And
welcome.
thanks again for having me on. And we could do a part two to talk about the business failure
Ooh,
if we need
yeah.
to.
It
Yeah,
could be a new episode. All the failures.
sure.
It'd be like an hour and a half. It'd be great.
Okay.